Hans the Hedgehog, the weirdest fairy tale. Once upon a time, there was a farmer who wanted a child. He was so desperate that he was willing to father a hedgehog. Okay, that's really suspicious because why would he have to specify that? Then his wife gave birth to one. Oh, that's why. But as he grew up, the farmer started hating him because he wasn't a human, whatever that means. So he asked him to move out. Right around this time, there was a fair in town, so the father brought Hans some bagpipes, which is literally the worst gift. I would rather get actual human poop than bagpipes. Anyways, this caused Hans to move out of his parents' house, taking with him his bagpipes and of course, riding a rooster. He lived in the forest for a while playing his pipes, and one day a king who got lost while hunting came and asked him for directions. But instead of just telling him, Hans said that the king had to give Hans the first thing he met in the kingdom when he arrived. The king agrees and writes it down. Except, no he doesn't, cause the king has read Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Quote number 39. Hedgehog in the woods? Don't give him the goods. So he just writes down something random and illiterate Hans thinks he agreed. So he points him home. When the king gets to the kingdom, his daughter meets him first. And he tells her about the contract and how he tricked a furry. And she says Omega lol or whatever people back then said. Back in the woods, another king pulls up and asks for the same thing. Bro ain't got no compass, no maps, no GPS, no sense of direction. So Hans gets him to write a similar contract that he'll have to give Hans the first thing he meets. This king actually agrees because he didn't have a frontal lobe. Seriously, who would agree to this, bruh? And when he gets home, his daughter meets him first as well. Yo, you legally belong to a hedgehog now. Now Hans decides to cash in his earnings and visits the first king. He flies into the kingdom, which clearly doesn't have a competent military. Art of the War, quote number 63. If he flew over your head, you was dead. Hans asks the king to grant his contract. I ain't agreed to nothing, bro. Where's Secret Services when you need them? So, Hans just threatens the king, all willy-nilly, and the king finally agrees and gives him his daughter. The daughter, however, isn't okay with this. So, when they're on their way back to the woods, Hans asks her if she loves him. Let's see. You're ugly. You smell like a rooster. Bro said Sonic without the son. I have no clue how you shower with those horns. So, Hans pokes her bloody and sends her back to the kingdom. Anyways, then Hans goes to the second king to grant him his contract. The second king agrees and gives Hans his daughter. Anyways, Hans gets married to the second daughter and asks her the same question. And she surprisingly says yes. Maybe she was just scared. Or a furry. So then of course, Hans sheds his hedgehog skin, which he could do the whole time, and it turns out he's black. Oh wait, no. They clean him and he's actually white. So, moral of the story? Don't trust forest raccoons.